"Beware of the secrets hidden in the small town located in West Virginia, Fair Lake," says Julian. According to him, you may never know if you will disappear just like the other people living in Fair Lake in 1817. He tells Cruz, "Legend has it that the local miners did not get along with the hill people. It is said that on Halloween in 1817, the hillbillies attacked the people of Fair Lake in the largest massacre in the state's history. But what weirded the world out was that no dead bodies were found. People believe that the hillbillies hauled all the dead bodies, created a huge bonfire, and then ate up the residents of Fair Lake. Boo! The group of friends, Billy, his girlfriend Cruz, Lita, her boyfriend Gus, and Julian, are visiting the Mountain Man Music Festival that is held in Fair Lake every Halloween. For them, the horrifying story surrounding the town is just some old tale to tell your friends when camping. Little do they know that the Hillikers, Three Finger, Sawtooth, and One Eye, are coming up with a murderous plan with the serial killer Maynard Odets somewhere in the hills. Joining hands, the four kill unsuspecting news reporter Kayleen Weber. No one suspects that anything wrong is going on, not even the news team that came with Kayleen. The crew, because of her pompous behavior, just naturally assumes that she is late when she doesn't show up. They quickly find a replacement for her, happy to not have to deal with the diva. Meanwhile, the group of 5 friends is having fun while Billy is driving them to the town. That is until they find themselves in danger. Maynard Odets suddenly steps on the road, and trying to dodge him, Billy crashes the car into a pole. Billy, Gus, and Julian come out of the car to check on Maynard Odets. They are alarmed when he almost cuts off Billy's arm. Fortunately, Angela Carter, the town sheriff, and her deputy partner, Kevin Biggs, coincidentally arrive at the scene. They investigate the place and find drugs in Billy's car. The 5 friends and Maynard are all arrested on the spot. Sheriff Carter tells Kevin to stay behind and bring back the evidence. She is unaware, though, that the serial killer has some just as deadly backups. The Hillikers have been there the whole time, hiding behind the trees. As soon as Angela leaves with the others, the Hillikers start shooting arrows at Kevin. Once they get him, they cut off his ears and eat them. Back in the police station, the friends are stuck in a prison cell and extremely stressed. Since Billy is the owner of the drugs, he decides to own up to his mistake for the sake of his friends. Angela, convinced by his confession, releases the other 4. Gus, Lita, Julian, and Cruz rush back to their hotel and try to figure out a way to get out of this mess. After they leave, Sheriff Carter digs up information on Maynard Odets' past. She finds out that he is a brutal serial killer who has been on the run for over 30 years. As soon as she gets her hands on such details, she immediately calls the U.S. Marshal's office. They agree that the fugitive will be transported by the U.S. Marshal by 10 a.m. the next morning. Angela is thrilled that she is able to serve some kind of justice to the people he killed and catch a wanted criminal like him. But as she is beaming with joy, Maynard Odets' cold and evil laugh fills up the room. "You won't live that long," he says with a sickening grin. Back at the hotel, Billy's friends are talking to his dad about helping him out of prison. The man appears to be the protective type, as he is ready to hire the best lawyers to defend his son. Now, all they can do is wait. Cruz, out of anxiety, decides to visit her boyfriend, who is still not out of his prison cell. As she is walking towards the police station, she meets one of the Hillikers, Three Finger. He attacks her, cuts open her stomach, and feeds her her own blood. Seeing Gus and Lita getting all lovey-dovey, Julian barfs and decides to step out as well. He also decides to visit Billy at the precinct, only to discover that Cruz is not there. Him and Billy start panicking. Where is she? And why has she not come back yet? To make things worse, the Hillikers are planning their next move. They break down the telephone pole of the whole town, so no one can call for outside help when they are in trouble. Whether they know it or not, the town is cornered. While everyone is filled with anxiety, Gus and Lita are having a romantic moment together. Surprisingly, Gus even proposes to Lita. As expected, Lita is shocked and turns him down since she thinks that she needs more time to make a proper decision. To cool her head a bit, she decides to take a shower. Just then, someone starts banging on the door. Gus opens the door, and standing in front of him is One Eye. He grabs Gus's neck with a rod, and he and Sawtooth take him away. Lita, hearing the commotion, panics and gets dressed. She also smartly breaks the towel rack as she waits for Sawtooth behind the bathroom door. When he enters, she hits him hard on the head and runs away, escaping the terrifying fate. Gus isn't so lucky. The hillbillies tie his hands to the back of the truck and his legs to a tree, then cut off his feet with an axe. They bring his body in front of the police station, and while the others are watching, prepare to run him over with their truck. Angela, Mose, an acquaintance of Angela's, and Julian watch his body getting squashed in front of their eyes. Julian promptly throws up, while Angela and Mose move Gus's body away from the road onto the porch. Once again, Maynard starts chuckling wildly and tells Angela that he had warned her about them. The sheriff springs into action. She frees Billy and gives him and Julian a rifle each to defend themselves with. Although Billy is set on finding his girlfriend, Cruz, Angela insists that they all stay together. She knows that what the Hillikers want is to find each of them alone and vulnerable enough to kill. After everyone is positioned at their stations, Mose suddenly remembers something. Sheriff, Lee had a shortwave radio in the back of his thrift store. I've seen it, he says. Angela comes up with a plan. She tells Mose that she will cross the street and get into the thrift store to call for help through the generator. When Mose offers to go with her, she declines and tells him to stay back instead and not let the Hillikers get in. Like a manic dementor, Maynard teasingly warns that it is not good for them to split up. Angela assures the others that she will keep them safe and tells them to cover her while she is crossing the street. She enters the thrift store and after some searching finds the radio. It looks like Three Finger has caught a whiff of what is happening though. He also goes inside the store. Angela fires her gun, not realizing that the others will start panicking because of all that commotion. When Billy hears the gunshots, he immediately wants to go out and help, but Julian stops him. He promises him that if the sheriff does not return within 10 minutes, they will go out and look for her, Cruz and Lita, but they need to wait for 10 more minutes. In the meantime, Angela is finally able to contact someone through the radio. This someone is Teddy Table in Dixville Notch, New Hampshire. Angela tries to alert Teddy about the current situation in Fair Lake, but he thinks that it is just a prank call and cuts her off. You can practically hear Angela's hopes shattering into pieces after this. Her attempt at convincing him are cut short by a sudden scream. It turns out to be Lita, grieving after she found Gus's dead body. Her friends quickly come out to comfort her and bring her inside. Billy makes her sit down and asks if she had seen Cruz on the way. Seeing Billy stressed over the possibility that his girlfriend is lying dead somewhere, Maynard starts having a little fun. She's dead, lover boy, probably being digested right now. My boys have a taste for flesh, especially cute little blondes, he mocks. That provokes Billy, who immediately gets up to threaten to kill him. He is now more determined than ever to find Cruz. When Angela tries to stop him, he pleads with her to either tie him back up or let him go and find his girlfriend. He cannot possibly let the love of his life wander out there all alone and live on. Angela gives in and hands him back his rifle. Julian makes the decision to go with Billy, and they both bid farewell to the party. But as always, there is a piece of bad news. Three Finger finds them lurking in the street. While her friends are away, the only person to calm Lita's nerves is Mose. She questions him about why they are killing innocent people and what they gain by taking their lives. As a sign to show that she is not alone in this fight, Mose pats her head as if she was his own daughter. With the Hillikers on their trail, Billy and Julian run into an alley to hide from them and end up finding Cruz's dead body. Her body parts have been littered all over the place. Billy does not get any time to grieve as he and Julian fall into the trap of the Hillikers. Billy is hit hard on the head. He wakes up to a blood-curdling scream and finds his body buried in the ground with just his head above the soil. He discovers that they are in a football court and is helpless when he sees Julian has been chained to the goalpost near him. Billy urges Julian to try and get out of those chains, but it does not work. They try to call for help, but realize it is all in vain when they see Three Finger. He is driving a huge grass-cutting tractor with a sharp blade coming right at them. Their faces turn pale, and they start squirming like worms to try and free themselves. All while this is happening, Three Finger gives a menacing laugh and increases the speed of the vehicle. Julian tries to dig Billy out, but upon failing, cowardly leaves him behind. The blades pierce through Billy's head as if it were a fruit inside a blender. Seeing this, Julian is traumatized as well as fearful that the same will happen to him, and it ultimately does. Although he tries to run away, the chain gets tangled in the blades, and as a result, his whole body is ground up by it. Three Finger is watching all of this, looking like a kid being handed candy. Now the focus is all back on one place, the police station. Angela is giving Mose a pep talk about how he is to go and find other officers to help them out. Seeing Angela distracted, Maynard takes his chance to manipulate the already terrified and shaken Lita. He tells her that he will not even touch a hair of hers if she convinces the sheriff to let him go. "Me and my boys will go disappear into the night. You'll be safe," he says. She tries to convince Angela to let the killer go, but to little success. She and Mose leave to find her police car inside the junkyard, the car that Mose will bring to help with. Angela safely escorts him to the car, and things seem to be going well. Things seem to be going well until Mose, who is not paying full attention while driving, crashes into a barbed wire. The Hillikers capture him and set his body, along with the store, on fire. Lita and the sheriff are frozen with fear, their argument forgotten. A fire erupts at the thrift store, and Angela hurries outside to see what's happening, leaving Lita all alone with Maynard. Initially, Lita does not want to set him free, but being the manipulator he is, he plays with Lita's mind. He convinces her that he and the Hillikers will not hurt her in any way and will let her survive. Tempted by his offer, Lita stupidly hands him the keys. Not even a minute later, she comes out of the police station, eyes carved out. Angela, who was thrown to the ground by the sudden explosion, tries to help her. She shoots Maynard and puts him back in his cell again. Then she hurries to Lita and bandages her eyes to somehow lessen her pain. As if things weren't bad enough, when Angela steps foot outside the police station, she finds her husband Jason tied up in the driver's seat of a truck. As Angela gets closer to Jason, he tries to warn her that it's all a trap. The Hillikers had set a trap. If someone opens the truck's door, Jason will be sliced with a knife, and that is what happens when Angela opens the truck's door. Blood starts rushing out of Jason's body, and Angela can't focus on anything besides him. Seeing her distracted, Three Finger comes up behind her and takes his chance to grab her. She tries to fight him off, but he overpowers her and she loses consciousness. She wakes up to find herself hanging by her hands in one of the prison cells. The killers pour gasoline all over the police station. Maynard ties a wire to the sheriff's body in such a way that if she tries to set her foot down, the wire will pull the trigger of the gun beneath her. He tells her that she can either burn to death or shoot herself to death. He sets the police station on fire and gets inside a truck with the Hillikers. Unable to bear the pain, Angela commits suicide. With no other survivors remaining, the killers are off to find Lita. She is blindly walking on the road and calling out for help. She gives a sigh of relief when she feels the light of a vehicle approaching her. Just as Lita thinks that she is safe, she screams in terror when she realizes the people inside the truck are none other than Maynard and his minions. They drive off in the dark with Lita.